welcome to Tiza Karaoke. Please subscribe down below and comment, and God will bless you. Today we are going to study about what is the one thing you regret not saying to someone. What is the one thing you regret not saying to someone? Look at the I were engaged when I was 17 and he was 20. It ended as I imagine most American engagement at that age ended very poorly. We did not speak for a year and a half until he reached out on my 19th birthday, just wishing me a happy birthday and wishing me well, not expecting to resume communication, but I figured, what the hell? I had enough time to link my wounds. Let's try being friends. At this point in time, he had left Florida when I lived and gone back to Arizona to live with his parents and work. In spite of the distance, however, the friendship picked back up almost immediately, and soon it was like no time had passed at all. He was extremely busy and he was working 3 jobs, but he always made time for me. We talked about everything, and he was the first person I turned to be with the new development in my life. He said he was going to visit Florida in December to see his friends, and we made plan for what window when he visited. Wild, fantastical adventure that only adventurous young people with no real responsibility would dream of, like road tripping up to Georgia to visit a guru in the wood while tripping on acid. I could tell he was still in love with me, so when he asked me if I did go on a date with him when he came to visit, I didn't surprise me. It is very much did surprise him when I said yes, and he got giddy. A few weeks later, he came fully clean about his feeling in the most tactful, respectful way possible. He was still in love with me, and was I interested in discussing this further? It took me a while to respond. I was 19, had been bored, had previously was scared of commitment, especially with him being in Arizona. Too much was unusual. I said no, I did not want to discuss it further. He said okay, and I did not press it any further. I figured things would be clear when he visited and went on our date, and we couldn't evaluate from there. Meanwhile, to cope with the stress of work, three demanding jobs, he had taken to lumber tripping. At first, I even tried it myself when I was on the phone with him, and he guided me through what would up being an enjoyable trip, and went talk about his trip, but I was getting concerned with him, with how often he was doing it. The hangover worse than my experience I had with an alcohol, and with his stress as bad as already was. It had to be adversely affecting him to some major ways. It was especially concerning to me when he had told me about sobering up and feeling his room trashed and not remembering doing and the fact that talking to his shade about death was becoming a recurring theme he brought up in his trip. On December 26, 2007, Luke shot himself. In retrospect, all the signs were there, but at the time, it was a huge shock and utterly soul-crushingly devastating. I couldn't bear to be sober for a year following his death. I was eaten up with regrets and what if. This was my very best friend, a man I loved with all of my heart, but I was too afraid to tell him, tried to put it off, and now I did never have the chance to tell him Would things have chanced to tell him? Would things have gone differently if I did say yes? Let's discuss. This had been open about my feeling. Just 2 weeks prior to this would have still done it. Did he die thinking I did not return his feelings? Yes. Yes. I know it's not my fault. Luke ultimately made his own choices, but I always wonder what if about those words never said. It's been 10 years and I have moved on as well as one typically does after 10 years, I suppose, but I know this will haunt me the rest of my life. Yes. This will help me the rest of my life. Welcome to my channel. I'm Shiza Karaoke. We have talked about what is the one thing you regret not saying to someone. What is one thing you regret not saying to someone? Please subscribe as usual and you learn a lot on my channel. Bye.